My name is Nicole Santani, and I am one of the career specialists here in the Office of Career Development and Calling.
I'm Will O'Brien. I'm the Associate Director in the Office of Career Development and Calling.
My name is Ann Vu, and I'm a Career Specialist Intern.
I'm Dave Broza. I'm from Career Development and Calling, and I'm the Director of the department.
Our office would love to support you in wherever you're at in this journey with your major and career choice.
We help students try to figure out how God has uniquely called them.
So if you're feeling like you're back at the beginning and needing to reassess, that's a step that we can process with you.
We think about who we are and what we want to do, but I think when we tie it to how God has created us for a purpose, we can actually take steps to make that an act of worship.
In that exploration model, there's ways that our counselors can act as guides to walk anyone through. What do they want to do? What do they want to do now as far as a major? What do they want to do long term?
We will sit down with people and talk about strategies that help them figure out through their interests, through their values, how God has uniquely created them. That is an act of worship.
I think our career counselors are great at helping you look at a wide variety of options that match up with your interests, your skills, your passions.
Some broader interests, some life experiences and passions, some of your giftings. We really appreciate having those conversations and would love to talk with you.
Look at what your interests are, your other passions, and find you a related position or something similar that you could study.
Sometimes just having somebody outside of your circumstance can be a good place to have those conversations.
So I want to encourage you, and I want to tell you as students of Bethel University, the Office of Career Development and Calling is here to serve you.
When coming into our office, we hope that you feel just welcomed, that this is a safe place and a friendly place.
First, if you're wanting to see what else you might be interested in doing, we have a couple test assessments that you could take.
Each one of them can be helpful in their own way in helping you identify areas of interest, areas where you are naturally talented, areas of motivation.
Students can get a better sense of who they are. They can get a better sense of careers that match up with that. They can find career titles that are aligned with their interests.
This can be a great starting place for assessing some next steps. We offer the Myers-Briggs personality assessment, and that's looking at how you are naturally wired.
What traits, what skills, what things that you can offer, what environments you work best in.
I like that it looks at your personality. Personality doesn't tend to change as much over time, and so I like the way that you can look at your personality type and then also look at careers that match up with that.
The Strengths Finder is another assessment that we offer in our office, and this assessment looks at how you're naturally talented. Our naturally reoccurring talents give us energy, and if we can identify where those talents are occurring, that can help make some connections to the world of work as well.
The Strong Interest Inventory would look at some of the things that you'd be interested in doing, different career areas or similar career areas in different branches.
I think the Strong Interest Inventory is great because it lists out a lot of different careers.
We also offer the MCore, and that's a new one in our office. That assessment is looking at areas where you've experienced achievement or success and how the motivation you have for those types of activities can lead to career options as well.
It helps students process their future aspirations through narratives that they would supply us, and we help them drive through that.
My favorite assessment is the Strengths Finder and the MCore right now, and I love having conversations with students about how God has uniquely wired them and how those things translate into our vocation. Assessment is connected to ONet, which we use a lot in our office.
ONet is a great website that you can look at from a variety of ways.
On ONet, there are a few exercises that are very helpful. If you do both exercises, values and interests, and you start to see particular jobs continue to bubble up, there's probably something there. There's probably a way that God has wired us so that it makes sense to pursue certain jobs over others.
There's a quick search bar that you can just type in any job title you've ever heard of. There's thousands of jobs in there that are listed, and you can read through. And what I recommend a student does is read through the summary points of each job, but then also look closely at the knowledge, skills, and abilities sections and think, do I have those things? can I gain those through my major?
As part of God's creation, we are given certain interests that we like to pursue. And that probably will draw me to particular jobs as opposed to others.
Probably the last thing I really recommend about ONet is look at the salary information and the job outlook information, because you want to know, does the salary information match up with my maybe my student debt, or what my lifestyle expectations are, what I hope to earn when I get out of here. And the other thing is this a growing field? Are there jobs available in this field? Because if there aren't jobs or this is a shrinking field, you might think seriously about going into another field. You can look at related careers. And so when you look at related careers, then you might say, well, that one wasn't quite the fit I was looking for, but this one is a much better fit, and it was one of the related careers.
And once we establish those positions, then we can take steps to confirm that.
Just seeing some results on paper can be an excellent next step, and then having a conversation with a career counselor about how those results may fit into the world of work is something we'd highly recommend.
Help get confirmation from people, and go to the people that you trust, mom, dad, sisters, brothers, and ask them the question. It looks like I'm attracted to a particular position. What do you think? Once you establish that there are particular positions that you have an interest in, you get confirmation from people that you know very well, then you can go to other people like professors and professionals who are out in that area. And that's where LinkedIn comes into play.
LinkedIn is revolutionizing the way that recruiters find employees. LinkedIn is such a great way to match up with employers, to connect with recruiters, but also more so for students is to find ways to connect with alumni.
One of the best resources that I see that is underutilized, so to speak, is our alums.
We've got about 18,000 alumni that are listed on LinkedIn, and those alums are in so many different fields. I think that's what really a great strength about Bethel is all the alumni connections.
When I work with a student, I might actually do a Wordle on that student. So for instance, they'll say, well, I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I'm a chemistry major that has to switch to another major, let's say for instance. But I'm interested in working with people, I'm interested in working with animals, so what can I do? And I'll say, well, let's look on LinkedIn and see if there's anybody out there that has a similar story to yours. And in a lot of cases, we can find these people.
It gives just great access into the lives of professionals that we may never know they exist or who they are, and how easy it is to get out there and have an informational interview with them or shadow them.
We recommend doing informational interviews so that you can get a good comprehensive understanding of how those interests do fit into specific career paths.
There's a lot of benefits of doing informational interviews.
We recommend sitting down for 20 to 30 minutes with somebody doing a job that you're considering. During that time, you would make the informational interview about them and their story. So you'd ask questions like, tell me about what a typical day looks like. What are suggestions you have for somebody who's considering this field? What are some pros and cons of this field? What are some trends?
You could ask a really broad opening question like, how did you get into this career? Or what do you like about this? Or tell me about your career journey. And then just sit back and listen and learn from a professional who's doing it.
You can start to ask them, what is it like to be in your profession? What is it like to do a job like this? Because I want to confirm even further that this is something that I want to do.
Informational interviews can really just open your eyes to so many things that internet research can only do so much for you.
Well, here is a great example of an individual that you can have a conversation with in order to find out what are the steps that they took.
Probably the best piece about an informational interview is you can learn a ton.
When we find out that there's other people that have gone through it, it makes it a lot easier.
It is an incredible way to learn a little bit more about what a typical day looks like in a profession. What are some of the pros and cons? What are some suggestions somebody who is kind of further along in their career journey would offer to a student.
There's ways that you can avoid going down career paths that aren't a good fit for you. There's ways that you can figure out that this is really the right fit and really can be a confirming experience for you.
And it's those conversations that will not only help with confirmation, but it might also help lead you to internships and positions that help you take it a step further.
We always recommend ending an informational interview, asking the professional if they have any other people that they would recommend as good resources.
So often what will happen is as they talk to Bethel alums, and those are the people that we try to connect them to, these are the people that will recommend them for future jobs.
During that informational interview, you have received hopefully a lot of great information, but also you've communicated that you're the type of person that this professional would want to reach out to down the road, and so it's a great networking opportunity as well.
It goes beyond that. It could be recommendations to graduate school. It could be recommendations for internships. It could be recommendations for projects with professors here on campus.
What you've done during that informational interview is you've showed that potential employer that you're a person who takes initiative, that you have a posture of learning, and that you have excellent communication skills.
There's so many opportunities that we get through relationships with others, and that's really a key to what we're trying to teach people in career development and calling. The advice that I have for students is this: get into career development and calling as soon as you find it comfortable.
Come in whether or not you think you need to come in, because this is a journey, college is a journey, and we love to process things with you.
I'd love to see every student come through our doors.
It's usually sooner than later that I think would be helpful.
I think that any time, it's never too early to come into career development and calling.
Even if you know what you want to study and whatnot, we could always help you with that resume or land that job. If you have a goal, we'll walk through and help you get through it.
There's times that it makes sense for freshmen to come in if they're not sure about their major or if they want to confirm that this is the right major for them.
There are so many steps that you can take in order to help you with that process that aren't necessarily difficult. Usually it's just talking to people.
There's times when students are looking for specific positions or looking to do an informational interview with someone, and who we can connect them with, whether it's an employer, whether it's an alum, whether it's a recruiter, whether it's someone to do an informational interview with. We have thousands of connections. We'd love to connect you with people.
And so there's a lot of bits of information that we know about the real world, and we want to make that transition from college being a student to a worker a lot smoother, and there's a lot of stuff we can share to do that.
And then it makes a ton of sense for someone to come in during their senior year to start looking for jobs, looking for places to apply.
As a student, you want to take proactive steps in order to get to a place that you feel as though God is calling you.
I feel like the world is at your fingertips, and it's kind of the land of opportunity, hopes and dreams, and figuring that stuff out.
If you're not even quite sure what all your questions are, just come on in and we can guide you through the whole process. We do this every day. We love to help students. We love to help anybody that we can. And I think this is a really welcoming staff, a really friendly staff, and a really expert staff. We really know what we're talking about.
I believe that God created us each uniquely, and that when I get to sit down and talk with a student about how God has wired them and given them talents, how God has used experiences in their lives to shape them, having those conversations with students brings me so much joy, and it's the reason why I continue in this field. So developing that relationship with a student and really empowering them to take next steps is something that brings a lot of satisfaction.
That's my favorite part, is just walking along through that, working with so much potential, and seeing that come out.